Well, thank you guys for joining us for our fifth We Give Summit. Y'all, our team is at lot and we are super excited. Our team is on high. And hopefully y'all enjoyed that last session. I'm ready to get into Dimple's book. But again, y'all, thank you for joining us today, and especially for this session here today. I'm super excited to be in community with my team for this session. It is A Movement Grows, our 5 years of expanding collective giving. And so I just want to please note that y'all know that closed captioning is available and it can be enabled at the bottom of your screen. Now that we got that out the way, y'all, I'm excited. My name is Taisha Ty Wilson. If I haven't had the good pleasure of meeting you over the past 5 years, I am the Senior Director of Community here at Philanthropy Together. And we are a global initiative to grow and strengthen the field of collective giving with programming, amazing programming like the We Give Summit. And so, y'all, this session today is a special one. Now, our team facilitates a lot of trainings and we do a lot of speaking engagements, but we're rarely all in the same space together to talk and have conversations together. So this is a rare occasion. So with that, I am delighted. I'm always honored to be working alongside my amazing team here at Philanthropy Together. This session will look back at our 5 amazing years together as field builders, advocates, ambassadors, allies, whatever you want to call us, of this movement of collective giving. And so with that, I want to just encourage y'all to engage with us. This is a conversation. Y'all know our team likes to talk, but more importantly, we like to listen. So please engage with us in the chat and be mindful of our community guidelines. And stay with us all the way to the end because one, we have, it's going to be a great conversation, but we'll announce, we have a special prize and we'll announce and receive, somebody will receive a $50 gift card for our We Give Summit shot. And so with that, y'all ready to introduce my team real quick? I've been practicing this. Joining me today for today's session is Sarah Lomelin. She's our CEO, AKA, I like to say our Chief Celebrity Officer, our hype woman, our fearless leader. She'll be joining our conversation today along with Isis Krause. Isis is our Chief Strategy Officer, AKA our Make It Make Sense Chief. She's also our in-house chef and our fairy godmother of brilliance. She's so amazing. And then lastly is Ilyasa and Shabazz. Ilyasa is our Senior Operations and Communications Director. She's also AKA our Chief of Staff, our accountability mama bear, and one of the most polite people I've ever met on this planet. And so, Ilyasa, come on in here, sis. I'm going to turn it over to you because you have something special to show the people, right?
Yes. Hi, thank you so much. Such a warm introduction. Thank you. It really has been an honor and a privilege to work alongside all of you for these past 5 years. And it's really been an honor to lead our communications here. And over these years, I've been able to listen and help share stories of hundreds of collective giving groups who are coming together to make change happen, not only by supporting one another, but also by supporting our nonprofit leaders as well. And so Philanthropy Together was launched by the collective giving movement for the collective giving movement. And over the past 5 years, we've been building something really special together. Collaboration has always been at the heart of who we are, even before we had a name. And so this video that we're all about to watch was created with our partner, Flannel and Blade, and it lifts up the impact of Philanthropy Together, but more importantly, it shows us what's possible when we come together. So please enjoy.
Philanthropy Together is building a thriving movement of collective giving. We're a field catalyzer on a mission to democratize and diversify philanthropy.
Philanthropy Together is like an older sister or a good friend. It's somebody who cheers you on.
Philanthropy Together is an innovation lab.
The convener, a resource for best practices.
A good partner.
Philanthropy Together is radical,
Inspirational.
Accessible.
Force multiplier in the world of collaborative giving. It is the thing that is holding us together.
Philanthropy Together is love.
Collective giving is as old as humanity itself. For generations, people have come together to pool resources for their families, for their neighbors, and their communities.
In 2017, we realized that there was not a place to convene people that were part of the collective giving movement in the US.
Philanthropy Together was a seed idea of more than 100 people. I had the pleasure of writing the sticky note that said, should we build a backbone infrastructure organization?
We got together for many months to really think about what an infrastructure hub organization to support the collective giving movement globally might look like.
Do we need a website? Do we need an event? Do we need just a few calls every couple of months?
Sada and I would literally spend all day on Slack together building out our programming. And it wasn't just us. There were so many members within the broader network that we had built.
Oh my God, I remember the early days, the energy, the joy, the laughter. It made me feel alive.
We decided on 4 strategic focus areas. So we have showcase, scale, strengthen, and sustain. And showcase and scale are to bring new people into the collective giving movement. And then for strengthen and sustain is how do we support the existing movement. That first few months that were going to be just like the planning and the preparation of the programming, we decided, okay, we need to move and we need to move fast. We launched on April 1st of 2020. 2 weeks after the pandemic started. Because of the pandemic, because we were all living in this, digital world, there were no geographic barriers anymore. So at that moment, we decided to say, okay, we're not just going to be US based, we're going to be a global initiative.
COVID actually unlocked so much for us. So many more people wanted to get involved. They were asking, what is mine to give in this moment? How can I give back? Folks coming together from Community Investment Network, Latino Community Foundation, Amplifier, and others giving their programming, their knowledge, and together we made the first program, our flagship, Launchpad.
Launchpad is an incubator for giving circles. It's really, a set of tools and everything that someone would need to start a giving circle.
Launchpad was the foundation for Circle for Good. Circle for Good is Power's $3 million commitment to the local communities surrounding 21 of Power's offices. We wouldn't have been able to have as an effective program if we hadn't started with Launchpad. There was a lot of unknowns. I had only ever heard the word giving circle. I had never gone deeper than that. After going through Launchpad and being able to sit with Taisha, who made the session so fun, so digestible and communal, I was so grateful for that opportunity.
Philanthropy Together has been able to shine a huge spotlight on the collective giving movement. We've had more than 1 billion media impressions about this model. We're able to break through and talk about a different form of democratic, joyous, intentional grant making. One of the most exciting moments talking about media was when TED reached out to have us write a TED Talk.
The TED Talk was a beautiful surprise. The key message was that you don't have to be a millionaire or a billionaire to be part of philanthropy. Giving with an abundance of heart and of spirit, we can all be radically generous in so many ways beyond just money.
Sada's TED Talk was absolutely inspirational. The concepts that she's talking about were so simple and so human that it was a wake-up call of what's possible inside of communities and when we are able to bring people together.
One of the biggest projects we knew we had to undertake was an additional landscape research around collective giving in the US.
The In Abundance report provided the field with data-backed insights to show findings like the collective giving movement is growing tremendously. There are more diverse voices represented, that members are benefiting personally and professionally by participating, and that society as a whole has more civically engaged citizens as a result of their participation. And the list of findings goes on.
Compared to 2016, where there were 1,600 giving circles and having moved 1.3 billion over 20 years, in 2024, we found that there were 370,000 individuals who have collectively moved $3.1 billion in just 6 years across 4,000 groups.
When you look at the census data that came from the In Abundance research and you see how big this movement is, I mean, it's incredibly inspiring.
Something that has been unexpected and super exciting is how other countries are, using this model, the Giving Circle model, to just grow philanthropy in their own countries.
I first got involved in Philanthropy Together through our host, the Shanghai United Foundation Giving Circle gathering. I think Sarah's word at China's summit really give inspirations to China's Giving Circle leaders. My feeling is we are not alone. We are in the right path of this global movement. We can work together to build a better world.
In the beginning, Philanthropy Together was laser focused on giving circles, but even after a few years, we realized how much bigger the collective and collaborative giving universe was. And so we broadened our focus to also include ways of bringing together collaborative fund leaders from all around the world for trainings and convenings and support.
Philanthropy Together is elevating the impactful role that collaborative funds play with mainstream philanthropy. They've gotten us opportunities to be published in Ms. Magazine and other sources so that others can learn about us. They've really upped our game in terms of just amplifying our brand and our impact.
For the collaborative fund ecosystem, we've been able to do so much in just a few years. Through the Global Summit of Collaborative Funds, we brought together hundreds of collaborative funds around the world to engage in shared learning and best practice around how to strengthen the model and do their work better.
I have to say it was very, very heartening to find kindred spirits and be able to be in a space where we could trade notes and share strategies and learn from each other.
I think Philanthropy Together has changed the game because it has shown us that all across this country and all across the world, there are pockets of people gathering together, doing something in their local communities, taking action.
When I think about changing how we see this movement, changing the narrative around who is a philanthropist, changing the narrative about community-based organizations, those are things we're able to do because we've come together towards that collective North Star.
Infrastructure is incredibly important, and now collective givers have a piece of infrastructure within the philanthropic infrastructure. I'm super proud that it exists in the world.
Philanthropy Together offers so many different ways for you to be involved. You can sit through sessions like Launchpad and really learn a step-by-step process. You can come along with a community of practice. Those are the spaces where you are actually applying what you're learning. And then also they offer you spaces to lead. I've spoken on panels before and really talked about my experiences in equity and philanthropy.
Philanthropy Together's biggest impact on the collective and collaborative giving movement isn't any single program or statistic I could share, but it's how we've brought together an entire movement of individuals and organizations all around the world to envision a brighter path forward.
Our biggest impact has been igniting all these people and just sharing with others the power that the existing movement has had and inviting others to be part of this movement with us.
When I think about Philanthropy Together's legacy, I think about a quote from Maya Angelou, which is, at the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or did, they will remember how you made them feel. I've had belly-grabbing laughs with our staff.
I've shed tears with our brain trusts, and I've shared meals with participants in our programs, as well as grantee partners. I've embraced funders with hugs. Folks in this movement know what the spirit of this organization is. And at the end of the day, joy and love is what Philanthropy Together will be remembered for.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, you guys, I have watched this video by this time several times, not as many as Ilyasa. Ilyasa knows it by heart. But it gets me teary-eyed. And I just want to invite to the stage the person that said yes to, like, my God, this is very emotional, but um, Victoria Brana, without you, nothing would have ever existed because you were the one that said yes to a very small group of women that came to you in 2017 and said, what if? Um, what if we, get together to talk about, um, how do we support the American Giving Circle movement? And you said yes to that. So we are forever grateful. This whole movement of thousands of peoples, we're very grateful to you. So I just want to ask, your reactions to this. This is the very first time that you see this video.
Ooh, you really put me on the spot. Sorry, you're gonna make me cry now. So thank you. Thank you for having me here and having me get to just be a minute of this incredible journey. So watching this video, I feel the way I always feel when I'm around Philanthropy Together and collective giving and giving circles. I feel joyful, right? I feel hopeful in a time where every single day I try to find something hopeful. And so you've given me that for today. Thank you. And now I can watch the video anytime I need. Anytime I need a little hit of hope, I'm going to pull up this video again. It is incredible. And I think multiple things are true, right? So Ty in the video talked about how collective giving has been around forever, right? Like, I truly believe it's like one of the best of human impulses and characteristics, right? It's one of our better angels that we get together to solve problems, to help people, to give, to be generous. It's also true, though, that Philanthropy Together has, what are the words people are using? Accelerated, amplified, catalyzed, supported, scaled, your S's you started with, like showcase, scale, strengthen, sustain. Like, you have just put this on, rocket fuel in the last 5 years, despite COVID, despite the changes maybe because of all the things that came to take you off your perfectly beautiful crafted plan. And you've achieved so much more than I imagined that you ever even imagined, that I could have ever even imagined. It was so clear that the potential was there, though. And the idea of combining boring infrastructure, which, Sarah, you've beautifully renamed like the coral reef of our sector, right? With this joyful, incredible human instinct of generosity collectively. It's like a perfect match, right? And I think kind of the sky's the limit on what happens next. So sorry for the long speech, but I guess all those things were running through my head. And I'm so grateful to have been a tiny part. And I'm super grateful now at Global Giving that we're directly collaborating, right? That Philanthropy Together, Global Giving, and Grapevine have a brand new partnership we'll talk about later this year sometime. But, really, I'm just so glad I get to be in the trenches with you now.
Thank you, Vic. Thank you so much. And again, Yeah, you said yes. You said yes to something that didn't have any shape, as Isis said in the video, right? Like it was one post-it, right? Like what if? And the what if is this 5 years. And I feel that the most important part is seeing everyone that is in the chat, everyone that we encounter every day. I feel that I can talk to, for my team about this. We have such an incredible privilege job because we get to work with the great and good people of this world, the people that want to do something for their communities, the people that are not, staying in the sidelines, the people that roll up their sleeves and they say, I'm going to do something. So thank you, Vic. Thank you for your vote of confidence 5 years ago and for your vote of confidence every single day. So thank you so much.
It was an easy yes. And I think that the people who roll up their sleeves, right? That's what you all were in that room of 100 people. Like that is exactly what this movement is. And so, yeah, thank you again.
Bye, Vic. Okay, people, let's get started. I just want to say something because everything is in the video, right? But the importance of how, we wanted to dream big. In the years that I spent at the Latino Community Foundation, and I got the honor to meet, incredible women like Hallie Lee, Marsha Morgan from the Community Investment Network, Liz Fisher and Felicia and Joelle Berman from Amplifier. Paula Liang and Diane Chiefs Bailey from Philanos. And we got together and we said, there's nothing to convene all of us, to get us all on the same page, to really catalyze this movement of giving circles and collective giving. And that's why it was important, right? Because as all of you, part of Giving Circles and collective giving and collaborative giving know, we are stronger together, period. The challenges in this world are huge. And the only way to tackle this is by catalyzing and mobilizing and energizing more and more people all the time. So that was the dream back then. And that was, why this was important. And Ty, I'm going to pass it to you.
Thanks, Sutter. I'm just so honored. As y'all know, I've had I've been with Philanthropy Together, y'all, for 4 or 5 years. And I've thought so deeply and so much about just like what we have all accomplished together. And that video just lifts my heart, and just seeing everybody in the space that are still here and pushing forward is super inspiring. I really have been able to witness something extraordinary by my role of the programs and such of leading our Launchpad for You programs and such like that. And philanthropy is really bringing us together, y'all. Philanthropy transformed us into an act of solidarity, and it really brings all those tapestry of relationships woven together, not just here in the US, but globally. And so, team, am I good to kind of share a little bit about kind of some of the things that I've seen? Or like, Isis, what do you think? Can I share a little bit more? Yeah. Okay, so I felt so deeply because our team is like, all right, Ty, y'all know I talk a lot. They're like, you got 5 minutes to really kind of highlight some of the things that I've seen in my role as the Senior Director of Community. And y'all, this movement is truly people power. I've sat on 4 kind of anchoring themes that I'm gonna drop with y'all and what I've seen. One is just, yes, this philanthropy is people power. That's what we're building. We often say that term all the time. What makes collective giving so transformative isn't just the pool funds, right? Like we're moving resources into the community, but it really is the power of our connections. It's the pool wisdom, y'all. It's the experiences, our perspectives that really emerges as we connect. That magic happens when we're in a space together where dare I say it, but I'm gonna say it, where diversity, equity, and inclusion unites us and it does not divide us. We see that in our movement, right? Y'all, like That's us. And I've had the privilege, y'all, of witnessing, I don't know, we've had over 400 plus people in our programs through our training programs. Yo, that's a lot of people that we're training to mobilize and to activate their philanthropic voice through our training programs. And that gives our team so much joy to bring those unique insights, and that strengthens this work. So people power philanthropy. Our work also, in my opinion, is like we're building bridges, y'all. We're gonna have a session later about building bridges. We're gonna be talking about that collective conversation. But when I think about that infrastructure that Victoria was just talking about, it's like relational infrastructure really is what we're building, right? This isn't about just the systems and the processes on how we do this work, but it really is us being courageous enough to create spaces where our relationships can continue to flourish and endure. Like, we're friends. We've like Eliasa said, we've laughed until our stomach hurt. We've broke bread together, y'all. We really are family in this movement. And I think our strongest foundations is not the brick and mortar, like Philanthropy Together. We don't even have an office, but it truly is the trust and reciprocity and the genuine care and love to support each other in this journey. Yeah, I'm checking the chat. And the last two things I'll say is this movement, y'all are talented people. Y'all are the most interesting people in the planet. All of these gifts that y'all are bringing to the table collectively has helped all of us to be like students in this movement. Yeah, like I feel like I am. Like, yes, I'm training, and our team we're often in these positions to teach, but every training session that I've led through Launchpad and all of that, it has really been like a two-way street. I came to like facilitate, but I really walked away with lessons learned from y'all. And so I thank y'all for just your resilience and your generosity and your community wisdom. Y'all are smart. We're talented. That's where our superpower is at, y'all, is when everyone brings those gifts to the tables. I do feel that our greatest, lessons and gifts to one another is the gifts that we have innately to share, and when we share those in abundantly. And so, yeah, y'all, I could talk all day about this work, but y'all make me so proud. I'm so honored and thrilled to just not only to be celebrating 5 years with my dynamic team, and shout out to Kyson, he's been here too. Love you, Kyson. We love you so much and miss you. But I just, we're stronger together, as Satter said. And so in the spirit of what I'm hoping that we continue to accomplish in the next 5 years is that we will really activate and continue to keep our motion, right? Like, don't let up. Now is not the time for that. If there was ever a time for collective giving out, it's right now. It's our time right now. Okay, team. I'm not trying to hijack all the time, okay? But Eliasa, am I giving this to you? You want to share some of your thoughts of what you've seen in this movement with us over the past 5 years?
Yeah, Ty, I would like to just double down on the relationships. And in the video where Sada talked about there being no geographic boundaries, I feel so connected to people in this movement, so much so that I know that I've seen some of you at conferences in person, and it's like I just saw you last week. Like, it feels like we really are friends and in this movement. And I don't even realize it's the first time I've seen some of you in person for the first time. And so it's because I'm exposed to so much more just by this virtual nature of our work. And also just want to share that with my own personal journey and the just personal impact of being involved in this work at Philanthropy Together and meeting so many of you that I've been introduced to new ways to give and show up. I'm now a member of a giving circle, the new generation of African-American philanthropists, and they're based in Charlotte, and I'm 90 minutes away from there, but I can still be connected because there's just no barriers. There's this virtual way that we can connect. And I have also served on committees with Philanos and am now on the board of Community Investment Network. And both of those are national networks of giving circles. And so in my personal life, I'm connected all over the country and feel really grateful for these opportunities, and just want to thank all of you for being in this movement and in this work with us. I'm going to pass it over to Isis.
Thank you, Eliasa and Ty and Sada. It's been such a, honestly, pleasure of my life to work so closely with all of you and Kyson and all of our previous staff and Rebecca and everybody who's here. One thing that I think strikes me the most. I've spent all of my career helping build and scale initiatives, and often I'm the consultant in the background who like writes the post-it and then pieces out. And this is really one of the first times where I've not only written that post-it, but then been so actively involved for the last 5 years in helping this grow. And I think what that proves is that it's not just the idea, it's like the work, the day-to-day work that so many folks have put into this day in and day out, like all of the blood, sweat, and tears that went into this. And not just Philanthropy Together, but like this is something so big and so far beyond anything that we did. Like we really just pointed a spotlight and a magnifying glass on something that was already there to try to bring more resources and people into this movement. And so I'm just so grateful to see how far this has been able to go and what might come from here. The flip side of all of that is that it's also really hard to measure what is the actual impact of what we've been able to achieve. And it's been so wonderful to work so closely with Adriana, our dear embedded evaluator, over the last 5 years on all of our programming, tweaking things behind the scenes to have the most impact. She was one of the key lead researchers also on the In Abundance report and has so much love and heart for collective giving. And together we were talking through how do we try to measure and evaluate the impact of a field catalyst backbone infrastructure organization on the collective giving movement. Like it's a very niche, small thing, and she has done an incredible job trying to bring all of that to life in a really impactful way. And so Adriana, I would love for you to come on the stage now and share a little bit around what you've been doing in terms of evaluation for this work and some of the themes that you've been holding. And after that, we're going to open it up to everybody to help us dream. We've been around for 5 years now. What comes next? What else do you want to see Philanthropy Together take on in the future? Adriana.
Yes, thank you so much. You didn't ask about the video, but I too was like in the back, like crying. And I just want to say that it's a very much a full circle moment. I've been so proud to be alongside you and to sort of see how we're going to learn about this and make sure that we're able to talk about it in ways that are compelling and that really speak to what we're trying to do. So just honored. And as you said, I've been both the external and the embedded evaluator since its inception. And so to get to conduct the 5 years evaluation is really motivating and exciting to me. And so what we were looking to understand is how Philanthropy Together has contributed in these first years and what its role has been in evolving alongside you all. And we heard a shared arc across it, right? You know, what's been built, what's working now, and what the field hopefully sees as the unique role that Philanthropy Together can play in this next chapter. We spoke to nearly 70 people, from staff to peer organizations to leaders across the ecosystem to many of you that are actually in the room right now. And the conversation spanned 10 countries, right? So this is largely a global movement that's really powerful to think about our connections together. And we also reviewed internal materials. And what we heard was a consistent and powerful message that Philanthropy Together has been leading with care, with clarity, and with conviction. When we look back to these past 5 years, what we heard from you all was that this wasn't really about launching programs as much as it was about amplifying what was already alive and really connecting it. That through the research, the messaging, all the convenings like these, Launchpad trainings and in communities of practice, what happened was that we started to see how we could name what we were doing. We started to see coherence emerge across the field. We started to see our visibility increase, and that the recognition that came from it was a natural next step. And so what I loved hearing from you all was really that you all stopped seeing yourselves as these isolated efforts and started to see yourself as part of a field, and how much that changed everything, right? And then when I think about what I heard on what's working now, I think one of the biggest things that came across to me was that this work restores belonging, right? Collective giving, collaborative funds, those are all helping to make people feel powerful, to feel connected, and to feel capable. All of this in a time of fragmentation, right? One of you said something like, giving circles help us be our best selves. They help us feel connected, empathetic, and generous. And I think that that really leads to the next theme, that people described stepping into their leadership with more clarity, right? So the framing that Philanthropy Together offered, the support that was given in all of those one-on-one coachings by Ty, all of these things helped people to see themselves not just as volunteers or staff, but as donors, as movement builders, and as civic actors. And that part is incredibly important because there's something about this rising consciousness that I'm seeing in the field that is happening with this desire to protect that core, right? That we all want this to grow, but we don't want to lose the values that brought us together, the ability to see how this culturally affects and resonates with our own communities, and the joy that we feel across every convening that we get together. There was not one focus group or interview that didn't mention the joy that Philanthropy Together brings. And I think that that's incredibly important because it's helping us to see what infrastructure might be when we're not replicating what we've been resisting, right? And with that, I think one of the other things that folks shared was working is seeing narrative work not as something that's like an afterthought, but as a core strategy to what we're trying to do, right? Everybody shared how the messaging, the storytelling, the research has been one of the most powerful contributions of Philanthropy Together because it legitimized collaborative funds, collective giving. It amplified identity-based leadership. And it moved us from feeling like we were a fringe to feeling like we're the future. And on that note, what the future was coming across from folks is that, you know, people are ready for more and they want it to be resourced with care. The ask is not to have this central node, but to have a steward of this field. And everybody felt that Philanthropy Together is seen as one of the few organizations that can hold that with humility, with strategy, and with joy. And so what I think that this ultimately means is that across all the voices, the message is clear. Philanthropy Together's model works, and we need more of it. And that this is infrastructure that doesn't extract, it affirms. It's a narrative that doesn't flatten us, it reflects us. And it's growth that doesn't centralize, it weaves. The invitation that I think is here is that now's the time to be bold. We need to invest in this in the long term. We need to share what's working with others, and we need to build what is still needed. And we also need to protect what has always been sacred to us. This is not just about philanthropy. It's about how we're practicing collective care and how we build civic and cultural memory and how we're going to shape the future together. And it's just been an honor to be able to hear that from all of these communities. So thank you, Isis, for the invitation to share some of that today.
Thank you, Adriana. You're really making me tear up. I think so much of this work is, it's hard to play that role with humility and joy and the weaving and all of those words that you just said. And it feels so special for us all to be recognized in that way. So thank you for lifting up those themes. And, you know, I think one thing that we've gone into this work with so clearly are our values. And one of those values was around leaning into trust and collaboration. From the start, we always wanted this to be about not PHT, but about everybody in this movement. And so I'm so happy to see that that was there. Another one of our values was that we wanted to build the party that we wanted to attend, not somebody else's party that was lame and stuffy and boring. And so it's wonderful to see that that joy and that passion and that enthusiasm came through. And so I think it's just such a great reminder for us all that yes, vision and strategy matter a lot, but values matter just as much when you're building something, and how that can carry you through. So in our final time together, I'd love to welcome my whole team back to the stage. And we want to engage in a little bit of shared dreaming and visioning. You saw the origin story of Philanthropy Together 6.5, 7 years ago now, where we had literally hundreds of Post-its and looking at what might this backbone infrastructure do and be. And we want to do that again. We're now 5 years in. And so I'm going to put a link to a Mentimeter in the chat, and I will share my screen as well. And would love for everyone here who's on the call, thank you for joining us, share a reflection around what else you want to see Philanthropy Together take on in the coming years. We're doing a lot of behind the scenes thinking and strategic planning and visioning around what happens now that we've done our first 5 years. What happens? What are we being called to now? So I'll give everyone a moment or two to collect your thoughts and put them into this Mentimeter. And yeah, if maybe while folks are doing that, if somebody had a question for us from the group, or Kaisen, I would love to invite you to the stage, and Maya and Rebecca, anyone else who's been part of the team, anyone else want to share a reflection of the last 5 years?
Goff, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I will, because you have been with us from the very first day.
Well, this is a tough act to follow here, and I think I just want to thank you all so much. So my name is Guff Van Vorn, and I'm part of a global giving circle movement called Social Venture Partners. And it's just been amazing to be part of different We Give summits. And like Sarah with the Minneapolis Foundation put in the chat earlier, just you get to join a community of practice, you get to join the webinars and all sorts of different things. I think what I love the most, and a lot of you have said, is that with the organization I'm part of in the Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota, USA, and also Social Venture Partners International, our global organization, I think Philanthropy Together has helped me and is helping Social Venture Partners be part of something bigger than ourselves. So right now we have 2,200 people. I think we're in maybe 5 or 6 countries, and we don't want to feel siloed either. We want to be part of a bigger movement, and there wasn't anything there for us before Philanthropy Together. And I think for our organization and for me personally, just really scratching the surface, the tip of the iceberg, all the different ways that we can collaborate and be in community with the amazing Philanthropy Together folks. Also, all of the different collective giving organizations that are part of your movement. So I agree with all of you. I think the sky's the limit here, and there's just so many big and bold things that we can all do together. And I'm just so grateful and really so lucky that I get to show up in times like these and spaces like these, and just listen and learn and reflect and unlearn, and when Sarah puts me on the spot, sometimes share ideas. And I'm just really, really, really excited and very energized for what's to come. I think the best is yet to come. And I know on behalf of myself and Social Venture Partners, we're just really excited to dig in with you in any way that we can.
Thank you, Goff.
That means a lot to us. I'm going to share my screen because we've gotten some beautiful, beautiful responses to this Mentimeter, and I'll read some of them out for the transcript. Let's see. Support affinity intermediaries to fund giving circles. I love that, the interconnection between all of these different collective and collaborative groups. One big in-person convening. I love that. We've done a lot virtually, but what else can we do in person? Continue to providing training, resources, launch pads, give mentorships, and continue to promote the creation of giving circles, guiding collective giving groups through change and working towards equitable grant making. Keep exploring partnerships with corporate philanthropy for employee giving circles. Yes, yes, yes. Go even more global. Keep your eyes and hearts on liberation. Strengthen opportunities between host orgs and circles. Build the movement more. Encourage private and family foundations to match dollars raised through giving circles. You better believe we've been trying that behind the scenes. We haven't yet been successful, but we will keep trying. Rural America, boots on the ground. Like to see PHT begin to correct the disparities in philanthropic dollars given to Black-led and Black benefiting organizations. Amazing. These are such incredible ideas. Please keep them coming. We are actively thinking about the next few years, and a lot of this aligns with what we're hoping to achieve in our own future. So thank you again to Victoria Vrana, who I think Sada didn't mention, but was the our program officer at the Gates Foundation, who provided our first seed grant to kickstart this movement before any other funders had come on board. And then Lodestar came on board, and then Kellogg, and then Fidelity Charitable. And so thank you to Vic again for providing that dose of inspiration to other funders at the start. And thank you to our whole team at Philanthropy Together and all of our past staff and consultants and everybody. And Ty, I'll bring it back to you to close us out.
Thank you, Isis. Yeah, y'all. Well, thank y'all. This was a great session, and we're super excited to just continue to do this work with y'all. Just a reminder, y'all, that we have a raffle winner, right? Actually, before we do the raffle, let me just let's do the poll. If y'all could just take a minute to please answer this 2-question poll before we exit stage left to go to our next session. That'll really help us out. And then, of course, all of these recordings, We Give Summit, you guys will have the good pleasure of viewing these recordings again at a later date, and share them out if you want to. Let's get into the raffle winner. Let me make sure I get this person right. Our raffle winner of today is, drum roll please, Imani, is that you? Are you our rep? You are. Imani, congratulations. You are the winner chicken dinner, always a winner with us. We love you so much, Imani, for today's raffle. So we'll be hollering at you in the chat how you can claim your gift card. Y'all, thank you again. Thank you again for joining us. We really look forward to having you all join us for our next session, the Curiosity Code. That session is coming up next, and we hope to see you all there.